The year was 1995. My Material Girl fan days had already passed, but Madonna was still big on the airwaves. And a fellow improv performer friend, let's call her Stevie, was putting together her Madonna impersonator act. She asked me and our other comedy improviser friend, let's call her Dora, to be her backup singers. Our qualifications were we had dark hair and we could sing. Stevie had booked chillers on the main strip in Palm Springs over spring break. She called me on the phone. Remember when we used to call each other on the phone? And she said, it's the dinosaur tournament and Colonel Parker's birthday and spring break. So the town will be riddled with lesbians, Elvis impersonators, and spring breakers. Do you want to come? This could be your lucky star. I reminded her I was still engaged to the comedy writer and I wasn't looking to get lucky. Now, if you want to have fun, don't be engaged to a comedy writer. I was looking for fun. I wanted a holiday, so I said yes. We learned the songs and some simple dance moves. We didn't call it choreo back then. We learned our harmonies by renting karaoke videos from Blockbuster, or if we were lucky, we could find them at the library for free. Remember videos? Oh my God, I remember videos. Okay, so we stuffed our bras with cut-off Nerf footballs. Nerf balls just wouldn't do it. You needed that point, right? We were all a little obsessed with Madonna's boobs back then. Stevie, like me, was kind of on the smaller side, but she knew how to enhance. She could dress you up in my love all over your body. With boobs and harmonies in place, we were getting ready to get into the groove. We had 3 or 4 songs, including Madonna's most recent hit, Rain. Now my part went kind of like this. Rain, rain, rain. Oh, and groove, move, me, feet, beat, be. I was the alto. So even though it would have been super easy, we did not do Vogue, Vogue, Vogue. Partly because we kind of had a hard time coordinating that, but mostly because we did not have a couple of hot male Latin backup dancers. So my stage name was Cherish, as in Cherish the Boy. Remember that video? It was mermen in the waves, and Madonna had on a black pinup dress, and she was rollicking in the waves, and it didn't make any sense. I miss videos. Well, this trip didn't make sense, but I dressed the part, and I was ready. I had fishnet tights, black biker shorts, boots, of course, a lot of jewelry and eyeliner and the Nerf enhanced bra. I looked hot and rebellious. Who's that girl? It was me. So that first trip to Palm Springs was so much fun. Madonna introduced us to all her friends, Prince, Cindy, Cher, Michael, lots of Elvis impersonators, the Elvi, as we called them. We posed with the dinosaurs at Cabazon. We played pool. We stayed at a motel with a pool. I think we gambled a little. I mean, that first trip, the Virgin Tour, was good, clean fun. So high on her recent success, Madonna booked us at a bar in San Diego. I hadn't been to San Diego since I was a kid, and I looked forward to another road trip. But this tour was overly blonde ambitious. It was not living up to expectations. Madonna was often late to a rehearsal. She was forgetting her choreography. And the day that we were going to San Diego, we were meeting at a studio, and she was over an hour late. My boyfriend, fiance, drove me there where we were meeting, and I considered staying behind. My My man and I were on the borderline. We had some stuff we needed to work out. But I could kind of tell he wanted me gone. A man can tell 1,000 lies. I learned my lesson well. If only I'd stayed home. But then Madonna and Dora finally showed up with Eric, the roadie driver, so we were off to San Diego. When we arrived at the bar, the show booker couldn't keep his hands off my ass, and the bar was smelly. Rather than filled with clean-cut college kids, the crowd was more hardened rockers with tattoos and track marks and a variety of mullets and spiked hairdos. Oh, but they also had all the eyeliner. Apparently, we were opening for a lineup of heavy metal bands. And Stevie was very, very high on cocaine. So I ended up singing all of Madonna's songs. I actually got to sing, "Rain is what the thunder brings. For the first time, I can hear my heart sing. Call me a fool, but I know I'm not. I'm gonna stand right here on the mountaintop." Which would have been great, except I was singing it into the mic and she was lip syncing to me because she couldn't sing. And she could have just sung to a Madonna track and I did not need to be there. I mean, the song was spelling it out for me, the relationship woes I was having. Hear it on my window pane, your love's coming down like rain. It was so fucked up. I needed something like a prayer to get me through this. This wasn't the holiday anymore. I'm not going to sing those lyrics in my name. I'm at the sad part of the story. Oh, it gets better. Madonna had invited a couple of groupies to our room to do drugs, and then they were going to pay her for sex, which she offered to Dora and I, which we in unison, in two-part harmony, yelled, "No!" and we kicked them out. Oh, my God. I mean, why was I so surprised? I mean, why was I shocked? This was the underbelly of fake fame. Was it that different than real fame? Why did I think Madonna Wannabe would act any different than the real thing? Now, I don't know Madonna's story. We're going to hear a story later about the real Madonna. All I know is that this Madonna was high on cocaine and couldn't focus. And from what I understand now, let's face it, I'm super straight. I have never done cocaine. But from what I understand, it builds a fantasy. And maybe Madonna really thought she was Madonna. Maybe I should have done the drugs and had sex with strangers. I mean, like a girl gone wild. I can't even sing it. And that hit didn't come out for another 17 years. I really wasn't ready for this. In true Madonna fashion, Stevie didn't have enough money to pay her backup singers. Dora and I paid for the hotel room and the gas. So I don't know about the real Madonna, but I know she had a very strong work ethic. I know this because I saw the Madonna documentary where she ate kelp. I think it was kelp all the time, and she yelled at her hairdresser to dye her hair back blonde even though it was in danger of falling out. I mean, she was a badass. She cried a little at her mother's grave, but then she got back to work. Our Madonna Wannabe did not have this essential drive. The drive back from San Diego was equally uncomfortable. Eric, our driver roadie, hadn't been paid, so Madonna tried to assuage him by holding his dick while he drove, and she kept saying, "We should pull over," to which Dora and I sang in unison in the backseat, "No!" Somehow we made it back to LA. I could not wait to get home and cherish the boy. I had to express myself and tell him what happened. I was trying to explain, it was like uncomfortable, like Madonna at the VMAs when she sang Like a Virgin and claims her shoe fell off and that's why she had to writhe on the floor. yeah, my time as a wannabe rocker was messy, like that. It was uncomfortable, but without millions of dollars. Like a virgin, but not a virgin, and not fun. So I told him about how the tour manager kept trying to grab my ass, and I had to explain no, nothing happened with the tour manager, and I told him how Stevie was high on cocaine, and I just wanted him to hug me. But he said, "Oh, I thought you knew that. You should have known that." I'm like, "Papa, don't preach. You should have told me." I did not feel cherished at all. I didn't feel like he was happy to have me home. His reaction told me everything. You couldn't get into the groove. This used to be our playground. But now we were just two souls in a ghost town. I don't know if I sang that tune right. If you're hardcore, you can correct me later. Months passed. I survived the breakup and found a cute apartment in West Hollywood. Stevie called me on the phone telling me she was having a yard sale and she had all these cute bras she was selling because she was getting a boob job with financing. Oh my God, she was still obsessed with looking like Madonna. She wanted to know if I wanted to buy her bras. I felt kind of weird about that. Like, who wants to wear someone else's bras? She assured me they were all brand new, but I found out later that she'd been living with a nerd comedy improviser friend of ours who she stole his credit card and bought all these bras. She was moving to Louisiana. That was the last time I saw her. Years later, there was an article with a photo of her emerged after the flooding in New Orleans in 2005 when the levee broke. You know, the song by the other band? She had a child on her shoulders and she was smiling and she still looked kind of like Madonna. But the caption said she was going to school, so she cleaned up her act. Her days as Madonna were over. I couldn't help wondering if the kid on her shoulders was named Lourdes or Mercy or Rosa. But had she really changed? I mean, here she was using this tragedy as a photo op. I mean, and have I really changed? You're all telling stories about real rock and rollers and real stories backstage. I mean, the Mark Knopfler song, I mean, I'm still telling the story about a wannabe backup singer. But it's okay. Thanks.